Hi, Linda Schiller-Hanna with you. We are talking about Inner Kid Keto. It's a daily program designed to give you emotional and moral support as you go through your weight loss journey. We all know it's not just about the food, it's also about the feelings. And today's session on Cranial Sacral Therapy, number 34, is going to focus particularly on how we can integrate our feelings as we begin to get thinner and less defended with fat. Because many of us are aware, or are becoming aware, that fat has been a shield against trauma, anxiety, overwhelm on many levels. As you start to thin out, you're going to be able to feel your feelings more. And that's a necessary step in recovery and healing. It's actually good to feel your feelings more, but it's a new thing for many of us. And I want to let you know how cranial sacral therapy can really help you integrate the process of getting more and more healthy, vulnerable, insightful, in touch with your emotions, being in your truth, all the things that are positive as a result of not being buried in overwhelming fat that doesn't serve your health, your serenity, your sanity, most of anything. It's been an emergency stopgap system. If you're with me, you're ready to get into healthy, classic, proper mode for your system, not trauma, drama, oh my God, I'm going to die mode. Let me pile on fat so I can hide in it. I know you're nodding. I know you're hearing me. Welcome. If you're hearing me, you found your tribe. I'm Linda Schiller-Hanna. I've been working with the keto food plan since Thanksgiving of 2024, and it's now late February 2025. I released about 40 pounds easily and effortlessly with the keto program. However, it's been an important step to integrate my feelings. I went for a cranial sacral session yesterday, and I did a video on it last night, and the sound didn't work. So I said, okay, I'm going to redo it today, and I'm going to refine my message, and this is the refined message. I have promised to do a video every day, so I'm going to do 2 today to make up for the one that didn't work out yesterday. And to me, that's just Spirit's way of saying, it's a better, do a do-over. This will make more sense to folks. We're here about making more sense. So what is body work? Body work is what healthy people use to keep their system balanced and conscious and comfortable. Especially since the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, in the last 40, 50 years, body work has taken a real place in our life. The early body workers were probably chiropractors, osteopaths, people who did those more solid, powerful adjustments to the neck, to the spine, and all of that is good. I've had those treatments and they've been wonderful, and for certain things, they're perfect. What I'm talking about today, craniosacral, is a much more subtle process, a more gentle process. You lie on a massage table with a therapist who is trained in this. He works over your clothes, he or she. This session usually lasts about an hour, and they're going to touch you in places like under the neck, behind the knees, on the ankles. I took a course or 2 in this, and I learned how to do it. The touch is so delicate. The trainer is told not to touch any heavier than the weight of a dime. That's a very light touch. Upledger, Dr. Upledger in Florida, a wonderful neurosurgeon, discovered the cranial sacral fluid has a pulse that goes down from the brain down to the tailbone, and there's a pulsing that's appropriate when you're healthy and balanced. And when it's working, you're great. But if you've had a challenging childbirth, if you fell on your tailbone, like fell off a horse or fell on the ice, or you had some kind of experience, or maybe a car accident or a whiplash, all kinds of things can traumatize your system and mess that cerebral spinal fluid all out of whack. And it doesn't smoothly roll through your brain, spinal cord, keeping you in balance. So since I lost 40 pounds, I thought, you know what? I need to integrate all the energy shifts that are coming about as a result of weight loss. That's a kind of energy trauma too, a positive one, but still needing an adjustment. I live near Akron, Ohio, and so I went to Randall Gibson, who's an incredible cranial sacral therapist. He also does massage therapy, and he also teaches. And I took a class with him, and he's a gifted practitioner. And yesterday in my session, I asked him, do you have some miracle stories? And he very modestly shared a couple. He said he worked with one woman, very quiet on the table, didn't say much, and he asked her for feedback. She let him know a day or two later, I'm out of pain for the first time in 4 years. Daily pain released in one session. He said he had another woman who had his services, and she'd had some kind of a brain injury, and her balance was off, her thinking was off, she wasn't jamming right. It was almost like she had Alzheimer's. And after his treatment, she was able to go back to Yale and get a graduate degree. She could focus that well. This stuff is amazing. I've had cranial sacral from many people, and one time I had a session in Florida from a young lady who I knew she was highly intuitive. And because of all my backstory of childhood trauma, being sexually abused, being hit, being dominated by dangerous people at periods of my life when I didn't know how to protect myself, take care of myself, or love myself. And some of you are going, oh, I can relate to that. Yes, you can. A lot of us can. But I was becoming aware that I had a hyper-vigilance scale that was off the charts. In fact, one psychic read me and she said, Linda, your hyper-vigilance is so high that if there's any danger within 8 miles, you'll know it. And truthfully, in the last 20 years, I've been very safe. Or when I was in any kind of danger, my radar was so high, I was safe anyway because I knew what was going on and didn't buy into tricks and issues that would have harmed me. So anyway, back to the Florida session. So I laid down on the table and she says, what's your goal for today? And I said, well, I think I'd like to lower my hypervigilance a bit. I think I've got so much hypervigilance, anxiety, friend or foe, that it's affecting my sleep, my relaxation, my sense of safety in my body. I'm just overreactive, protective, anxious. She says, okay, what do you say we get? She says, what's it at now? I says, 10 or 12 on a scale of 1 to 10. She said, okay. She says, how about if we get it down to a 3? So, I couldn't handle that. I'd be scared to death. Do you see how I have to be willing to let go and begin to willing to trust a lower level and be and comfortable in my body enough that this is going to be okay? We did lower it. And over the years, I'm more and more comfortable in my body and more secure. Complementary to that has been a lot of raising and trusting my intuition, trusting my higher power, trusting that God is present and active in this situation, taking care of me. There's many aspects to feeling safe in the body. One other aspect that's actually vital and dramatic is that now that I'm not eating junk food, no sugar, no white rice, no white flour, no carbs, clean eating for several months, my system is clean and clear. And I notice things. I notice when things aren't working. And I'm aware. And I'm 10 times safer now than when I was numbed out with junk. So I think keto is a magnificent system, and you may be already on it and understanding that, for getting an inner sense of cleansing, clarity, safety, awareness. And then if you want to tweak it and get it balanced, then have some cranial sacral. I'll talk about other bodywork systems on other days, but this is one that's really wonderful. Now I'm going to give you one more story about Dr. Upledger, who was the founder of this particular system. He has the Upledger Institute. He was a doctor of he was an osteopath. This is one of the books he wrote, Somato-Emotional Release, Deciphering the Language of Life. He wrote several books. But in one of the lectures, they told this story of how he went to England and lectured to a bunch of doctors over there in a big hall, teaching them about cranial sacral. And as part of the demonstration, a woman brought in her cerebral palsied child, 4 or 5 years old, little girl who had never walked. They bring her in, down on the stage. Dr. Upledger works on her in this magical, soft way, the weight of a dime, with his fingers just lightly touching for about maybe a half an hour. Apparently nothing happened. The mother carries the child back out. Thank you, Dr. Upledger. Not a very dramatic visual. But the next day, the mother returns to the lecture, and this time the 4 or 5-year-old girl walks in. She was walking after one treatment. That's the amazing potential. Now, I'm not going to tell you every person with paraplegic issues is healed in one session, but anyone who's got those issues may want to consider giving it a try. Or anyone with other body issues, or who've had severe early surgeries, or burns, or car accidents, or falls, or it can help so many people. The Upledger Institute, the place I just told you about, Dr. Upledger, they have a website. I think it's upledger.com or .org, UPLEDGER. I've written his name down up here. And they have a list of the people who are trained all around the country, I think even all around the world, in all the different programs and trainings. I took a couple of them. The cool thing is they're listed by location. So you can look up in your city who's been trained in cranial sacral, how many classes they've had. Some have had 2, some have had 12. Use your intuition, though. Who is the right person for you to go to? I hope you give it a try. I hope that as part of loving your body, you'll include body work. That's all I've got to say today. Welcome back to Inner Kid Keto. I do want to remind you, feed yourself love first. This is our slogan, because loving ourselves is a lot more important than feeding ourselves. The food will come, but the love is vital. God bless you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.